This is your, I'm sure, Ajaz, this is you're addressing someone here. I kind of sound like I'm in the middle of something. This is Gala Mama. Gala Mama. Dr. Morse, I hope all is well. I have a few questions regarding fruit fasting in kids. Is it okay to put a child on a fruit fast? Absolutely. Absolutely. Really, when you think about it, we call that a fast. But in actuality, it's simply eating frugivoriously, actually. So really, you're not starving anybody. All the fruit and the berries are where all the nutrition is, really, in my opinion. All the high flavonoids, everybody seeks the vitamin C complexes and the like. Well, just eat your fruits and your berries, you know. And the more we impress on our society and farmers the need to have better food, maybe we'll wake them up too, you know. But putting your child on a fruit fast is really just giving them the foods their body's designed to eat, you know, really. My cousin has had her 7-year-old autistic son on 100% fruit for the past 2 weeks, and she wants to know if she should keep going. Absolutely. Fruits and berries, you can make them smoothies, use a lot of blueberries. Absolutely. I mean, you're pouring nutrition into this boy here. If you want to supplement with some God's blend, that's okay with me too. But when you're autistic and you got a lot of neurotoxicity and neurological weaknesses from the adrenals, she's doing exactly what she needs to do. Now, I would take off with his adrenal glands, whether you use a glandular or you use an herbal. You're going to find some low blood pressure there, and this is neurotoxicity on top of a weak nervous system. And there's a point where some of these children are going to be born with just weak nervous systems and doesn't need any thimerosal or any neurotoxin from vaccines or society to throw them that way. This is the problem. So I think you guys are really throwing a curveball out there that'll take these poor children away from this. This is a smart mother that's doing this with her son. He is sleeping better and his bowels are moving a lot better, but she wants to know how long it will take to see changes in his autistic symptoms. I don't know. I would keep working with that. I'd also work with brain and nerve, the new brain and nerve formula. I would also work with the adrenals. I'd also just do a lymphatic one and kidneys on him, you know, just to get that lymph system moving and clean his lymph system out. Obviously, his bowels wasn't moving well, so it might be another area to give him some bowel cleanup stuff. But definitely want to get into the brain and nerve formula, if not the upper circ with it. I use herbs as well. But again, this is going to be twofold, moving any neurotoxicity out of him, which is going to be a lymphatic experience, and two, just rebuilding the myelin sheaths, and whether we're doing CNS or ANS, doesn't matter. That's the central nervous system or autonomic nervous system. And go after the adrenal glands and stuff like this, and you will turn this young man on. Takes a while to build, but at 7 years old, this young man is in a good growth side. You might try Ultimate Immune on him sometime. That's, antler and ginsengs and stuff, and just do low dosages on him. That could be real powerful for this young man. The endocrine gland formula would be very acceptable in that it would pick up his pituitary, his thyroid, and his adrenals in a gentle way. So I really think that would be good for this young man. Is it okay to keep this 7-year-old 100% fruit for an extended period of time? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've done it. Done it to a lot of children. But again, you're just feeding the foods that his body's designed to eat. And if you do, your darker grapes and your blueberries and, a lot of the bananas and stuff, it'll be a slower detox on him. But boy, you're pounding the young man with a lot of nutrition here. I would say coconut would be worthy to add, particularly in the earlier stages where fatty acids would be acceptable. But minimal, after age 2, the heavy fatty acid look isn't as good. It will alleviate his autistic symptoms, absolutely. You keep going. I mean, that's your goal. Think about health and work your child to it no matter how long it takes. I never know. Some children respond quite quickly and others still climb the wall for a while. You've got sometimes a lot of genetics to come back on and any neurotoxicity from vaccines and the like. I don't care what they say. It is well established it's a neurotoxin. and with way too many cases that show short symptoms shortly after being vaccinated. So that's just one form of neurotoxicity, but our society has thousands of neurotoxins right now that we produced. World is better with chemistry, isn't it? Oh, unbelievable. Have you had any success with other autistic children in regard? Lots of them. Lots of them. Absolutely. It's the only direction you can walk in, if you think about it. Because if you understand that this is a neurological problem, obviously, right, and that the top neurological foods on the planet is not, excuse me, not vegetables, it's fruit, and also the little help from our friends, the botanicals, really go a long way. So really, you're doing just right. You're detoxifying and building. That's the neat thing about the fruits and the berries and the melons. They not only detoxify you, they rebuild your nervous system. So, as we go, I hope to get more people that are willing to put themselves up on YouTube. So far, it's kind of like this. Some people just don't want their thing out there. You have to understand that people just don't walk up to this. But as we go, we'll show you a lot of cases. So we don't just have one case here and there. We've got a ton of cases here. This is Linda Lou. I like that. Linda Lou. Yeah. Dr. Morse, you mentioned your friend Mutt often. I am not trying to be a jerk by bringing this up, but didn't he selfishly lie and cheat? A little bit. But you know what, I've known them for a while, and sometimes people aren't happy that seems like they're happy, you know what I mean? So I don't really throw blame anywhere. I think they'll do better separate. I think there's a point. Shania had a hard time with big groups, and you look at a lot of the creative people, you'll see the adrenals, and she's a very lovely person, but shyer than you realize. And Mutt's intense. Mutt is an intense man, and he needed to be to get where he's at. And but you know what? Things happen, and I just don't throw any judge. I don't lose my friends for stupid things they might do once in a while, and maybe they really needed to go their own ways, from what I could tell in the last several conversations I had, even with her. I did an hour-long interview on TV about that and how it devastated her. Yeah, it did. I got one of the first calls from her on that. And no, I didn't have any idea. Okay, marriage doesn't always work, but cheating, it says a lot about a person. Well, yeah, I just again, I don't judge that, because as soon as you judge that, someone might enter your life that you just fall heads and heels over, and might change you. I don't know. I just don't judge on those things too much. But it was a shockerooski to me too. I couldn't believe she said that. But, some of your harder experiences actually pan out better for you. And I think she's doing a lot better. She's keeping herself out of the active singing, though. But I told her she should go back into the bars like her friend Brian Adams, who's now going around acoustically without his band a lot. And I think he sounds really good. He's a kick-butt musician, and he called me the other day, and I went up and listened to him at B.B. King up here at Orlando. And, that's just kind of what's happening. A lot of the singers are going back to grassroots, and I thought Shania should do that. I think it'd be really neat, kind of intense for her in these big stadiums. At least what she told me. And so I don't know. I thought it was a pretty cool idea. Mutt did not like that idea at all. So I think there's controversy in that sort of thing, but that's their private lives. It's okay to mix herbs myself. Yeah, I purchased your Heal All tea, and in the package there was a pamphlet that listed the ingredients. Sure, I don't have much money right now. Well, make your own. This is NAIMAH. Absolutely. That's what I did. And mix them and play with them and have fun with them. Whatever we can do to enjoy the botanical kingdom, I really feel that they're due their proper respect, and that they've been shoved in the corner for so long. And some of the Chinese traditional medicine concepts are a little out there as well. I think if we get away from animal parts and things like this in that respect. Now, I do say that, and you know I use the glandulars. Some of you have had a chance, like Dimitri, to sit here and see the cases that we have, and you know, it's pretty tough sometimes, and glandulars really do help us. So as long as the karma wheel's moving where we're raising and bringing these individuals for their purposes for that, I have to say that I'm going to ride with that, particularly as long as man eats that. When we start moving this whole movement away from the dead animal consumptions and all this, we start having stronger babies, it'll all die out. But again, judgment is a tough thing not to have, but we got to not have it. As a healer, I think, you know, we have to look at the health of our fellow man and help him in that way. And then again, you know, as time goes on, you guys might put together even stronger formulas that that will have a much more kick-butt effect, and there might be a way around that. But as a rule, in terms of body parts and slaughtering animals, that's it's regurgitating. But it's just going to take some time for this planet to recoup this negativity. But again, the positive is coming up with it. So you can't just have, you know, the pendulum does swing like this. But when I look around right now, everything's kind of going up. Spirituality's growing, but the negative forces are really keeping up. It's you've got to be really watchful in your consciousness, or you'll be consumed by these negative forces of thought and greed and backstabbing and gossiping and things like this. And this is just a little bit of how the negative forces pull you toward that side. Again, both sides, different sides of the same coin, understand that. And we're just here watching and observing and being involved in either side we choose. But as we awaken, we realize that it's just the game of duality and of creation, and that we're the experiencer, and that's where the true nirvanic experience is with the individual, and the joy that has after being separated so long from yourself, the union of yourself with yourself. Pretty exciting. It's like God coming home to itself again. Okay. This is the same question here on the fruit fast there. Hello, Dr. Morse. I've heard about you through my brother, and I believe that you are being a good. Thank you, my friend. This is Revolution Man 2012. Go for it, my friend. That's just what we need. Let me see. One of my loved ones believes herself to have depersonalization, and I was wondering if you could supply me with the information she needs to cure this. Well, I think that, again, going after the health of the body, and particularly bringing your endocrine glands up. I think if you look at the endocrine glands, now I know a lot of Westerners sometimes freak out with the word chakras and things like this, but I think if you simply understand the body as a magnetic being that has energy centers, core energy centers that are part of the matrix of how the body works, and these core energy centers produce hormones, on the physical side can produce hormones, steroids, neurotransmitters. On the inner side, if you want to separate from that way, they're like vortexes of magnetic energy of consciousness, and they're always emanating out and connection to the central energy of that particular world, like the solar plexus in terms of the causal world and the Akashic records, the id, the thyroid, the adrenals, the astral, and you'll have these similar experiences when each one of those glands dominate. You'll have a respective experience more in that world, because a lot of times we don't understand that when we're using our mind, we're not using a physical instrument.